Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for deep-cut soundtrack jams that deserve some recreation. Number 10. Break the Ice. Rad. There's just no other way to say it. Everything about 1986's Rad feels capital E 80s. The accompanying soundtrack definitely underlines this sentiment, thanks to such bangers as Send Me an Angel by Real Life.
Send me an angel. Send me an angel.
John Farnham also contributed a few songs to the OST, including the epic Thunder in Your Heart and our pick, Break the Ice. This sets the tone for Rad's tale of bitchin' BMX, effectively serving as the film's main theme.
Frozen in silence, facing it alone.
This is montage music at its very best, amplified by Farnham's soaring vocals and palpable sincerity. Subtlety? Irony? Get the heck out of here. Break the Ice just wants to get radical.
Get ready to break the ice. Feels like time is standing still.
Number 9. Scarface. Push It to the Limit. Scarface. We're so glad that famed producer Giorgio Moroder was tapped to work on the score and soundtrack to 1983's Scarface. Director Brian De Palma's remake is steeped in blood, sweat, and style from top to bottom, and Moroder's soundtrack is the perfect accompaniment. The soundtrack's main theme, Scarface Push It to the Limit, shows up during the epic montage of Tony Montana's rise to power, and it's everything you want in such a scene.
Push it to the limit. Walk along the razor's edge.
Push It to the Limit practically crackles with electrical energy as the up-tempo groove reflects Montana's relentless drive for success. Meanwhile, the lead vocal of Paul Engelman essentially narrates that razor edge of danger upon which Montana will dance, until his inevitable demise.
Welcome to the limit. Standing on the razor's edge.
Number 8. Flesh to Flesh, Return of the Living Dead Part 2. You may not recognize Australia's Joe Lamont by name, but you might recognize his voice.
Beware of the night-time people who's walking where.
This singer-songwriter appeared on a number of high-profile soundtracks during the 80s, particularly in the horror genre. Flesh to Flesh is probably Lamont's best overall tune, however, a standout cut from Return of the Living Dead Part 2. This comedic sequel to the 1985 original benefits from its rock and pop soundtrack, with Flesh to Flesh booming as the main characters escape zombies.
It's gonna be wild tonight. Flesh to flesh and bite to bite.
The hooks here are big enough to catch an ocean of sharks, while Lamont's vocals sound strong and melodic. And that chorus? Well, it's the sort of to die for anthem that's allowed Return of the Living Dead Part 2 to live on for horror fans.
It's gonna be wild tonight. Flesh to flesh and bite to bite.
Number 7. Killer Klowns. Killer Klowns from Outer Space. The overall career arc of the Dickies exists more in a traditional punk space than this soundtrack cut for Killer Klowns from Outer Space.
P.T. Barnum said it so long ago. There's one on every minute that you know.
This is what makes the deviation so cool, however, since the tune is a fun main theme for an insanely imaginative movie. Killer Klowns plays up that classic carnivalesque theme we all remember from the circus, combining it with the Dickies' punk pedigree.
You'll be dead on arrival from the dikes of the killer clowns from outer space.
The verses, meanwhile, are moody and suitable for the film's legacy as an 80s horror classic. The guitar solo also rocks with reckless abandon, while the lyrics of Killer Klowns nicely echo the film's plot. Not bad, considering the Dickies' lead singer actually hadn't yet seen the finished product.
Killer clowns.
Number 6. Shocker. The soundtrack to 1989's Shocker is a treasure trove of diamonds for heavy metal fans. Killer cuts from Bonfire and Dangerous Toys abound on this LP. But it's the main theme by the Dudes of Wrath that takes the cake.
See the shadow of a stranger, turn around and your life's in danger.
This was a supergroup compiled for this session that included Paul Stanley of Kiss, Motley Crue's Tommy Lee, Dio's Vivian Campbell, and more. They all bring the thunder. It's Stanley's presence that's particularly welcomed, since Kiss generally didn't deal with horror themes within their music. But the coda of Shocker surprises with a melodic anthem twist that feels more in Stanley's wheelhouse, as the Dudes of Wrath rock and roll their way through Wes Craven's Twisted Mind. Number 5. Poison Heart, Pet Sematary 2. It was a case of musical kismet between the Pet Sematary franchise and Ramones.
No one ever thought this one would survive.
The punk rock legends have appeared in one way or another in both original films as well as via Starcrawler's cover in the 2019 remake. Poison Heart from Pet Sematary 2 remains somewhat underrated. However, a ghoulishly gothic anthem with an absolutely amazing chorus.
A poison heart, a poison heart, a poison heart. Yeah!
The accompanying video for Poison Heart echoes this sentiment with an evocative clip that proved Ramones could expand their musical horizons beyond pure punk. The tune is melancholic with a driving rhythm by drummer Marky Ramone. What more can we say? Poison Heart kills.
Everybody has a poison heart.
Number 4. Nightmare. A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. It's a shame that actress Tuesday Knight's musical contributions to A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master wasn't released on the film's original soundtrack.
Again, I'm all alone. It feels like the end.
Nightmare, after all, essentially serves as the entry's main title theme, with Knight as its lead actress. Still, fans never forgot this haunting tune from this Elm Street installment. Knight's presence and charm as an actress were also retained with her singing career, as Nightmare feels suitably cinematic with a ghostly lead vocal.
Can't sleep tonight, 'cause I gotta run, gotta hide.
Knight has contributed a number of songs to television and film production since Nightmare, but the 2015 release of this single served as a welcomed reminder of just how cool this song was back in '88.
Running from this nightmare.
Number 3. Freddy's Dead, Superfly. The blaxploitation boom of the 1970s remains a treasure trove of soulful soundtrack cuts that helped define a decade.
It's hard to understand. There was love in this man.
Curtis Mayfield was at the forefront of this genre, alongside Isaac Hayes and his theme from Shaft. Mayfield's soundtrack album to 1972's Superfly is frankly a masterpiece, but Freddy's Dead stands out as a true classic of the era.
But that's how it goes. Freddy's on the corner now.
The tune's funky wah-wah, fuzz bass, and groovy drums appear in an instrumental form on the film proper, while Mayfield's album version features an amazing lead vocal. It ultimately doesn't matter which version you rock, however, because Freddy's Dead is absolutely guaranteed to get you moving.
Don't be misled. Just think of Fred.
Number 2. The Never-Ending Story. The Never-Ending Story. Isn't it funny how certain generation-defining movies live on while others fall by the wayside? Stranger Things may have helped The Never-Ending Story remain within the public consciousness, but those 80s kids who lived through it the first time round are probably nostalgic.
Turn around, look at what you see.
The Never-Ending Story was a hit for the solo career of Kajagoogoo singer Lamal, an impossibly heartfelt and melodic soundtrack cut for the ages. Composers Giorgio Moroder and Keith Forsey utilized then-contemporary synthesizer sounds for the US cut of the film.
There upon the rainbow is the answer to our never-ending story.
This stands in contrast with the German version of the Neverending Story, whose score by Klaus Doldinger is comparatively more traditional. Who are we fooling, though? We want our 80s, and we want it now.
Never-ending story.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Till I Hear It From You, Empire Records. The Gin Blossoms' melancholic sound of the 90s.
I just figure everything is cool until I hear it from you.
He's Back, The Man Behind the Mask, Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. Alice Cooper in his slasher era.
Almighty's back. He's the man behind the mask.
Pretend to Be Nice, Josie and the Pussycats. The best fake band ever.
Why do you do what you do to me, baby? Shaking my confidence, driving me crazy.
The Touch, Transformers the movie. The voice of Stan Bush can do no wrong.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Party Time Zombie Version. The Return of the Living Dead. It's one of the most perfect punk and pop soundtracks for one of the most perfect punk horror films ever conceived. Death Rock's progenitors 45 Grave had already released Party Time on their 1984 debut album prior to giving it a heavier facelift for this film a year later. The newly dubbed Zombie version contained new lyrics that fit in with the film's undead plotlines while also retaining that scream-alongable chorus. Frontwoman Dinah Cancer's superbly snotty vocals fit the song perfectly, snarling along to 45 Grave's riff attack and spooky synth accompaniment. The Return of the Living Dead had an OST that got the dead out of their graves ready to rock, but it was 45 Grave that helped lead the charge. Which soundtrack cuts live in your head rent-free? Let us know in the comments.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.